I'm Deacon Joy Fernandes for the Bombay Jesuit province. At present, I'm at St. Ignatius Loyola Church working in the Diocese of Vasai. In my family, I have my parents. I have my two elder siblings who are married and settled. I'm the youngest child in the family. I grew up along with my cousins. Since our house was very close to the church, my parents always encouraged us all to actively participate in the church activities. We were the first to be there in the church, be it for daily mass, be it for Sunday school activities. Right after my first Holy Communion, I was part of the altar service team. For a brief moment, I was also a junior in the Legion of Mary. As I grew up, I began to develop interest in computers and technology. After my schooling from St. Ignatius School, I opted for computer science and I completed my post-graduation in computer science. Before joining the Jesuits, I was working for a couple of years. I began my career as a computer instructor. Later on, I joined the IT firm working in the banking domain. In nature and by vocation, all of us are religious beings. What I call is a pull towards God. As I was young, this pull was very strong within me. But as I grew up, the pull began to lose its power as I got involved in studies and in career making. It was during my graduation that I went through severe crisis of faith. There were a lot of challenges that I faced in my life. During this time, I got a lot of opportunity to think about myself, my life, my career. During this moment of crisis, I began to draw once again closer to God. It was during one of the retreats in the parish that I had a deep spiritual experience where I understood God's love for me. And I began to discover as to how I was so fortunate to have a family that is so caring, so loving, supporting me in midst of my own challenges. Providentially, during this time, I came in touch with the Jesuits through one of my friends, and I attended a discernment retreat. By the end of the retreat, I was sure as to what God was calling me for. But I wanted to give myself a little more time to think over. I began with my other studies of my post-graduation. As I was studying, I saw around, I felt that there were so many who are in need, who are constantly in need of care and support. But I didn't know how to go about. It was during one of my study vacations that I came to know that the Jesuits are looking for volunteers to help during the English camp in one of the mission centers, and I promptly volunteered for it. I, along with some other volunteers, were at Shirpur teaching in the English camp for about a month. It was there I realized how wonderful and exciting it is to share your joy with others. I began to understand what true happiness is. Having witnessed the good works of the Jesuits, having met some inspiring Jesuits with their works, I was really inspired, and I was sure that it is to the Jesuit way of life that God was calling me for. God worked it all for me. It was easy when I told my parents about my decision. Before that, I was secretly part of what we call as a quest group in the diocese. One evening, while I was with my family, I received the phone call from the director asking me to join in one of the programs. My parents were curious as to what I was talking with this priest. Finally, I had to reveal my plans to them. I told them that I am discerning. They never objected over what I was doing, but they only advised me is to take my own time. After a few years, when I finally told them about my decision to join the Jesuits, despite of their own fear and doubts, My parents and siblings was very supportive. But it was not so with my friends. My friends who knew me very well, my nature, my interests. When I told them that I am going to quit my job, give up family life, they thought I have lost it all. They thought that I have gone crazy. But one of my friends, whom I knew very well, told me after a few years that he knew that I will do something different than the rest of my friends. It was never a cakewalk. Right from the time I took my first step, there were plenty of challenges that came my way. The challenges came as I was joining the Jesuits. With a lot of doubts, I was taking this leap of faith, the plunge into the unknown. The other challenges came along with my assignments I received as Jesuit, the roles and the responsibility that I had to execute, wherein at times I had to take major hard decisions which people were unhappy with. I too had to accept certain decisions made for me by the superiors, although I was not in favor of them. I accepted it all with obedience, trusting that the God is leading me to the right person in the right way. God was trying to purify my intentions at each moment. Through these challenges, I learned many lessons. First of all, I remember what my formator used to say, that in God-ordained universe, nothing happens by chance. I learned many lessons. I began to trust God. I began to understand that despite of all these challenges, He is right beside me. And He has planted people who are there around me to support me and encourage me during these challenging moments. Right from my diaconate, I feel blessed to be having been accepted by the Lord to serve Him and His community at the altar. Long years of formation as Jesuit has really equipped me with a lot of skills to cater to the community. Jesuit way of life, of freedom with responsibility, has helped me to take responsibility of my own life and my formation. I'm very excited to say my final yes as I go close to the altar. For me, priesthood is the greatest gift that God offers to me, to be His witness in the world, to bring grace and blessings through the sacraments in the life of the believing community.